Good evening, and welcome to Sporlitics, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is Oguna, the voice of reason.
Go Birds.
Stephen. Oh, well, what's Stephen? The independent thinker.
I can't believe you paid $39.99 for that.
Somebody gave it to me, some
Keith.
sweet woman.
Keith, the constitutional conservative. And my cousin, Todd. We have a full show for you tonight. Congratulations to President-elect Donald Trump as he names Marco Rubio his Secretary of State. Israel sends evacuation planes to Amsterdam after shocking attack on Israeli soccer fans for a UEFA match, and they were attacked by anti-Israel protesters on the streets outside of the stadium. What did you think of the elections? We hope to hear what you have to say. NASCAR with Stephen. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor to remain at post as some call for her to step down. NFL Week 10 highlights. Republicans win the White House, the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the popular vote. We'll talk about how that happened. College football Week 11 and the National Defense Authorization Act and the Farm Bill are all up for Congress to decide these next coming weeks. GOP leadership elections are this week, and President-elect Trump will continue to name appointees for roles in his administration. That and more, if we can fit it in. First up, Stephen, with NASCAR. Stephen, what happened this week with NASCAR?
Well, they were in Phoenix. This is the last race of the year. This is for the championship. This was the Super Bowl, and I said last week that Joey Logano was going to win the championship, and he did. And that was great. I'm glad for him. This entire year, it's some of the best racing I've ever seen in my life. I've been watching it since I was like 5 years old. But the racing is very competitive. It's really cool. It keeps you locked in the whole time. And that's great. But the thing is, with this playoffs, it's really different than other sports. Joey Logano won it all, but he averaged a 17 finish, but before the playoffs started. If you average 17, you're not going to make the playoffs, or you're not going to be in the run for the championship if they did it not in a non-playoff way. And that's what's turned a lot of people off from NASCAR. It's cool in the playoffs because everybody's got to race hard, but some people are left out. It's maybe something they need to go back and look at. And I don't know if they can bring back the old school guys that remember how it is, but he should never have been in contention to win it all. But I'm glad he did. It's his third time. That's great. Third championship. He wasn't my pick that I wanted, but he was the one that I thought was going to win. And that's usually how it is. And they'll be getting ready for Daytona and start it all over again. Like I said, the racing was awesome. None of the races were boring. None of the races were a waste of time. They were all intense. It all had something going for them. Gonna miss it. Racing's been very, very, very good to me this year. No sport's been that good to me ever. So I love it. It's good. Could pick some winners, couple losers, but it was a good year. Getting ready for Daytona, and let's see what happens. It's every year it gets really different, and we just hold our breath that it's going to continue because it's tough. It's tough to stay in business.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to go on to NFL and how your Washington Commanders did?
Well, they played really well. They played a really tough Pittsburgh team that suddenly, the last couple of weeks got it together. We lost by one, and it could have went either way. Where I think both of our teams are pretty much where nobody expected us to be. But I think we're pretty much the same. And if we play them again, we could beat them. It was disappointing. Didn't get as much out of everybody as I wanted to, as we know we can. But we have a really easy game coming up Thursday, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be a big blowout like the election was with Trump beating him. No, I'm just kidding. We got a really hard game on Thursday, and I'm apprehensive. I'm cautiously optimistic at best. I think we can hang a little bit. Maybe we're upset that we lost a tough one, but it's at area over there, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. That's a hard area for us in Pennsylvania for some reason. But I hope it's a really good game. Like this was a good game. And if we have to lose, we still have a decent record, 7-3. Something I didn't even know we'd win 7 games this year. And if we can win a few more games, make the playoffs, I'm as happy as I can be. And and like I said, I just hope it's a really good game this Thursday. And I think it will be. I think it'll be really good. Looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you. Aguna, the
Yeah.
Eagles this past Sunday and this coming Thursday, Aguna.
Yeah, so great weekend for football. All right. First and foremost, the Philadelphia Eagles, they went down to Dallas and handled their business. Now, I admit it was against Cooper Rush. So, there's going to be a lot of excuses there. Michael Parsons was just getting back. But anytime you can go into Dallas and take over Jerry's World, which is what the Eagles fans did, and the team performed on the field, it's a great day. So I was down there. I went to Dallas. I was down there in the den. And there was just a bastion of Eagles fans. We chased them out the stadium. It was just a beautiful day. It was great. Tailgate, Texas ribs. It was just phenomenal. But again, they struggled a little bit in the first half. You had some miscues. Jalen Hurts had a bad fumble. That was, he held onto the ball. I think they sacked him like 5 times in the first half. But they were able to pull it off. And because the Commanders lost, we are now number 1 in the division. With the division on the line Thursday night, which is, I think, by design because the NFL just loves drama. And so that was going to come to bear. But great job. We handled business. We were able to rest some starters. So now we have this Commanders game. Like Steven said, this is going to be an interesting game in the sense of, these teams are in 2 different areas, right? So you got up-and-coming Commanders, got a great young quarterback. Their defense is going to get tested, all right? The offense has got to perform. And then the Eagles playing Dallas as a tune-up, we're getting a lot of our starters who were injured back. So it's going to be an interesting game how it pans out. Jalen has to play good. I know, what's the name, Daniels from the Commanders side, he's been doing very well. So it's going to be interesting. Either it's going to be a blowout, like Steven said, or it's going to be close and the Eagles are going to lose. It's going to be one of the two. But it should be a good matchup.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Can you tell me what Jalen Hurts was talking about when he said he let the team down, but the defense made it up for him? What was he referring to?
Well, so he was making some key mistakes in that first half. He threw a really bad interception in the end zone to Dallas Goedert, where we were about to blow the game open, so you don't want to leave points on the board. We're able to capitalize and get a field goal as a result of that. And then the other thing, he had a fumble. I mean, the funny thing about Jerry's World is they got this sun thing going on down there, and at a certain point in the afternoon, you can't see when you're going into that western end zone. You just can't see it. It cost them an actual touchdown because CeeDee Lamb was blinded by the ball, and he dropped. I mean, he couldn't see it, and it was an easy touchdown, and he couldn't see it. So Jalen had the same problem. He had a strip fumble. It only resulted in 3 points, but still, he was struggling that first quarter. And then of course they just blew it open in the second half, which I kind of figured it was going to happen. But nonetheless, we won, so I'll take it.
What's interesting, I saw that the Dallas Cowboy fans, especially in the owner's box, they were having a hard time at the end. Wasn't there some sort of drama and disturbance going on?
Yeah, and I think Jerry Jones wasn't even in the owner's box. He ran out his own owner's box. He was so embarrassed and so pissed off at how they were playing that he left the owner's box early, which, again, that's the product he put on the field. By the way, the fan experience in Dallas is phenomenal. I mean, it's a great facility. It's got, it's a great Texas Live and the stadium and everything is a great atmosphere. But again, it was like half and half Eagles fans down there, so it was like a home game. But yeah, Jerry Jones is about that money, and he just he does not have a good product on the field.
Maybe he didn't run out the field. Maybe he went to see my former boss, President George W. Bush, because he and his wife.
Yeah, that's right. George Bush flipped the coin. It was good to see old GW down there. The former president. But yeah, he probably went down there, boys, so he probably went down there to go see him.
Yeah, that's why they lost, because George W. is a loser, man.
George W. never lost an election.
Yeah, but he's still a loser.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, thank you. Let's go on. Anything else with NFL around the league? I saw that San Francisco. I was so glad to see San Francisco struggle a little bit. You know, I kind of can't stand them. Uh, Anybody want to talk about San Francisco's game, or we want to move on?
Well, Christian McCaffrey's back, and as he gets a little better each week, it's going to be harder for everybody. But they've lost so many people on their team. I don't know if he's going to make a big advantage for them. Give them a big advantage because they don't have a whole lot left. I don't think.
Yeah, and what's going on with Debo? What's going on with Debo? Then you saw when he slapped the lineman and the kicker when he missed that first field goal. Now the kicker won them the game, by the way, later on. But yeah, Debo was acting up.
He's acting weird. Aguna, did you see what he wore into the stadium?
Yeah.
What was that?
He looked like a biker / he was wearing some Daisy Duke biker pants type stuff.
Is that what it was? I mean, what's going on with him?
Very weird, man. So, it wasn't too cool. But at the same time, Purdy, again, if he can't do it by himself, so McCaffrey being back and having the wide receiver Debo, I mean, that may be enough. I know Kittle was banged up for a while, so having him back is getting back healthy is helping them. But the Cardinals right now are on top of that division, so they have to kind of contend with them to win it out. But San Francisco, because they're getting healthy, will probably get back into contention again. But right now, the Cardinals are on top of the West.
Yeah, I'm liking them right now. They're pretty good. But Connor's hurt. That hurts them too. They need Connor back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show a little video of Debo coming in.
He's acting like Terrell Owens or something right now. He's gotten too many hits to his something. He is slapping people. I mean, what's going on with him, man? Did he get fined? Aguna, did he get a fine for that?
Got some diva action going on with him.
It's all diva, man. That's crazy diva.
There we go.
Hey, Todd, you like that outfit? That may be something Todd would wear. Would you wear that, Todd?
I don't know what he has on, and how dare you? Would you wear that?
I'm just saying, Todd.
I didn't see what he had on. Do that again.
One thing about Todd, he's a classy
you want me to do
dresser.
it again?
He wouldn't dress like that.
Yeah, he saw it. He just wants to see it again. He already seen it. He wants to see it again.
I did not see it. Crazy.
Yeah, he liked it. He wants to see it again.
Todd is a classy dresser. Todd would not wear. He would not wear that. He's very conscious.
No, he's got better taste than that. Todd's got good taste. This is awful taste.
Oh yeah,
now listen at that.
This is awful. No, you got good. You got good taste. This is awful taste. This is gaudy as hell.
Okay, you're two-faced and you're a flip-flopper.
I am not.
First you were saying until your boyfriend got on and said, "No, Todd's not." Oh yeah.
Stop saying that, Todd. He's married. It's not his boyfriend. All right, now pay attention.
What's Todd?
Pay attention, Todd. There we go. See?
look at that.
Is he wearing high heels? It looks like he's walking in high heels. Where his leg?
Is that a man purse?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a woman's purse.
I mean, that's along the lines of Fletcher Cox had a blouse shirt on during the Super Bowl, so I don't know if this is this kind of thing going on.
Hey man, live their lives. I ain't judging nobody.
Okay, let me ask you, Stacy, because I don't want to ask these clowns. I just want to ask you, what is that about? What are they talking about? Were you trying to make fun of him and his outfit? Is that what was happening?
I didn't. No,
he actually hit some of his players on the sideline. But this is away from the outfit aside, Todd. He was acting.
Yeah, this is like MTV. This is like TMZ. Yeah, he was hitting. He's hitting people. He's acting weird, man.
Okay, ma'am.
So let me explain what happened. I wish you all stop talking.
Why did you play the clip?
Stop talking. I said, the first thing I said was, we were talking about the NFL. Okay, Todd, not the Major League Baseball, Todd, not the National Hockey League. We were talking about the National Football League, the NFL. We were talking, Aguna had just finished talking about the Eagles, and I asked him, what about San Fran? San Fran was having a hard time And I'm not a San Fran
Oh,
fan
God.
because San Fran, I start
You're
from the
doing a
beginning
lot of
and
this.
I go to the end, and I'm very clear. I'm not a San Fran fan because they came with a big grudge and a big chip on the shoulder to beat the Eagles one year. They waited a whole year to come back and get the Eagles. So I do not like San Francisco. So I said to Guna, I don't like San Fran. They were having a little trouble. You want to talk about what happened in their game? And Aguna said, Aguna, what did you say?
I said that Debo was acting up on the sideline. There's a lot of dysfunction going on in addition to some of the stuff, the game playing out the way it did, where it was pretty close. Tampa almost pulled it off.
Okay,
Yep.
that has nothing to do with my question. Now, this sounds like, well, never mind.
Stacey, I think
Somebody
he
was
wants to
still
see that
there.
video again. I think he wants to see the video again, Stacey.
Somebody wrote, you gotta love YouTube said, that's a butch queen. And then somebody said, you gotta love YouTube said, Todd knows that player is suspect.
What?
I
I don't know anything. I don't know what. Let me just say this.
don't know anything.
They make him shower alone.
I think you played that clip to make fun of him, and
No,
that's not.
No, they said, what was he wearing? I said, I don't know.
Gosh,
And I just
make fun of someone?
Googled it.
You would never make fun of
And then it
anybody
showed
else.
me what he was wearing. I didn't know he was wearing it. It was really Steven who talked about what he wore into the stadium.
Of course, Stephen would. Stephen is.
Stacey threw me right under the bus when we were all having
the
fun.
truth hurts.
Yeah, I did it. It was me, but it was kind of a lot of people are kind of look.
There he is. There he is.
God, there you go.
Is that a chain? Is that the chain?
Listen,
Aguna,
why are you so interested?
I'm not.
That's what turns me off about football and sports now.
Hey, they don't all act like that, Keith. They don't all act dressed like that.
I know. It's just that, man, it's too much of the change in culture. I mean, it's okay with you guys, but I'm not.
Ever since Michael Sam was just
yeah, he ruined the NFL.
Ever since he wrote that book and went on Oprah.
Yeah, everybody's Michael Sam. We're all Michael Sam.
I'm saying that to Muscle Tide because
I want to go back to the 70s.
This is outrageous. I have never.
Hey, Michael Sam was back in the 70s, man.
Listen to me.
You.
Listen to me. Wait, Stacey. Of course, you let all the bigotry happen, and then just thank you for the bigotry. Now let's move on.
What's bigotry? We didn't say anything. What are you talking about, Todd?
You're being bigots. You're being sexist. You're being homophobic.
We're being misogynist. We're being misogynist.
We didn't say anything. What?
We're being Nazis. We're being Nazis.
Shut up.
So
okay, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Said, one of our viewers said, "That's a lady."
That's a viewer. That's not us. That's not the panel speaking.
That's a viewer.
That's not the panel speaking.
Dude looks like a lady.
That viewer is just homophobic.
That's not homophobic. They're just calling balls and strikes or no balls and strikes.
All right, let's move on. Anything with the NBA? Stephen or Aguna, anything with the NBA?
Yes.
What's up? Sixers? Oh, gosh.
Philadelphia.
Okay. Anything
the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yes.
College football this weekend. NCAA.
College football. UGA lost. Miami lost. All right. So I mean, the playoffs are going to be very interesting, and I think Tennessee has to play Alabama. But UGA losing, that's a big deal. They lost to Ole Miss, so that means they have 2 losses, and Ole Miss has 2 losses. So this SEC is going to be interesting how that championship game pans out. And then LSU lost to Alabama. So, yeah, I mean, you may only have one team from the SEC going to the playoffs if they keep beating up on each other. So it'll be interesting to see. And then, of course, Miami lost to, I think, Georgia Tech. And so, again, we all thought Miami was a little suspect anyway. But, again, they got a 1-loss team. So, another one, I think Indiana is like undefeated too. right? So now Indiana, Notre Dame, are these teams going to go to the playoff versus because they don't, they don't only have one loss versus these multiple loss SEC teams. So we'll see. But yeah. And last but not least, my team, South Carolina State, we destroyed Howard this weekend. I was there 38-14 in DC. We came, and of course, we did just like the Eagles fans did down in Dallas. We took over their stadium. We ran their band off the field, and we ran their team out the stadium. So that was all. It's just a great weekend. And then my fantasy football team won. So this is like a sweep.
Great. Me too. I won too. I crushed them.
Oh, brother. Well, we skipped right over. I don't know why Stacy did that. Start talking about college sports and skip right over the professionals. She went right over the NBA. So I didn't get a chance to comment on the NBA. And I think the Sixers are going to win the World Series.
Stop being
America
late,
first.
When you stop being late, maybe you would know what was going on in the show. Until then, you have no clue. But I will move on to something you should have some clue about. How about this? Why don't you have a little clue about this?
Oh my gosh.
Is that Serena?
Woo! Boy, look at her go.
It's not as good without Serena.
Oh, that's her sister. No.
That is, of course, you think all blacks look alike, but her name is Coco Gauff, and she's not related.
Oh yeah,
they could be cousins. They could be cousins.
She's good. She's good. Look at her, powerhouse.
Yeah, I like Coco.
Oh God,
that's a powerful girl there.
Yeah, she's not gonna do. She's just gonna get better every year.
Okay, Todd, do you want to talk about that?
No, I don't, because I didn't even watch that.
Yeah, he don't like her. It's not Serena.
He won.
He doesn't like her.
He don't like tennis since his girl left and his boy left.
She won.
Okay.
She won.
You keep saying that over and over again.
Hey, who won that match?
Because you didn't watch it, so I figured you didn't know what happened.
No,
Let's go on to the presidential election.
One last thing, Stacey. MLS. Inter Miami lost to Atlanta. And the reason why that's important, because Messi went and played for Inter Miami. They were the favorite to win the MLS Cup, and they lost 2-1 to Atlanta United. So that's a big upset in the soccer world because Messi was supposed to be that guy. So big upset. Just wanted to say that. Now the Philadelphia Union aren't in the playoffs, so it's no, I don't have a stake in the game, but that was just interesting because Miami had dominated all season and they got to the playoffs and they lost 2-1 to Atlanta. So that was if Nas comes on, maybe he'll mention that, but he probably
I thought the Penguins won that one.
Thank you, Todd. Surprise.
It's a different animal with a different
I'm looking
color.
at the back of look at the back of Aguna's background. That looks like the light I brought him, sitting all the way in the back there in the corner.
It is.
It's of no use.
Stop looking in stop invading my privacy.
It doesn't work.
My light is sitting all the way in the back, Aguna.
It's obsolete.
Hopefully you got a warranty on it because it does not work, and I'm trying to make it work.
So why do you keep it if it don't work? You're just hoping it will work one day.
Hoping and praying one day. It's like buying a speaker from Walmart. Sometimes you get a speaker from Walmart, miraculously, one day it just works.
Yeah.
It did have a warranty. Thank you for not throwing it out. It did have a warranty. I wish you had told me sooner. I'll find out if the warranty has expired or not. I'm not sure. But in the meantime,
you see that in my background.
President-elect Donald Trump. Let's start with Keith, then Stephen, Aguna, Cousin Todd. How was Donald Trump able to, Keith, listen to the question, Keith, because you don't listen to my questions. How was Donald Trump able to get the popular vote and get all of those 7 battleground states?
Well, he busted his tail in going to every single swing state. He even went over to. That's why I hope I hope Nas comes on here. I want him to explain what happened in Georgia. But he certainly took all of these swing states, and he was busting his you know what, and he was out there, and he went everywhere. So he even came to South Central at one point, South Central LA. So I mean, you know, he went to these blue states, and a lot of them, I guess, turned red. Well, I don't want to go as too far to say because I'm sure that the left,
they didn't turn red. But Stephen,
right?
your census on what happened?
I think that everybody could see basically what was going on. Like they were saying, it was basic common sense what was happening. They have somebody in Harris that has no business running for president. She shouldn't have been vice president. She was picked because of her, whatever her race is and whatever she has, her sexuality is, whatever it is. I cannot define a woman, but she never should have been running against him. And she had nothing. She had nothing to bring. She was an empty pantsuit. She had nothing to bring. She offered nobody nothing. So that's why she got everybody from every race that like more, you know, like what was it, 25% of black men voted for Trump because they realized
you got the numbers wrong.
Wait a minute, they realized, I don't know, say it's 5%, say 2, if it shuts you up, say it's 1%. I don't say whatever you want, whatever makes you stop. But what they had was we had a coalition of everybody in this country came together and said, we need to save this country because we reject the left. What the left was offering us is what we did not want. That's why everybody came together. And even though you could try to cheat, we overwhelmed y'all's system that y'all put. That's what we didn't know last time. We didn't know the CIA, the FBI, the Homeland Security. We didn't know all of these people were so corrupt. We didn't know that the Democrat Party was using them to go after, it was going to ruin our election last time. We overwhelmed you and we beat you decidedly, and now he has a mandate and there ain't no stopping him now.
Okay, thank you. Now, Stephen, if you noticed, no one talked over you. Well, Todd interrupted.
That one did. That one right there did. But he's no one. From now on, your cousin, your name is no one.
My God. Okay.
All right, Aguna.
Yeah, so it was interesting because right before the election a week ago, Todd talked about that Tucker Carlson clip where he talked about Daddy Trump coming home and spanking Kamala and all this other stuff. And I told Todd then, and I think this is the reason why the election went the way it did, is it's very simple. It wasn't about the border. It wasn't about inflation. It wasn't about the economy. It was what was on the ballot was masculinity was on the ballot, period. Now, it residual into everything else, but what you had was a backlash against the role of men in the household. I had a really good conversation with an avid Trump supporter prior to a week ago, and he was talking about this. He was like, we talked about the bro vote and how certain messaging around family and around, you hear about abortion and all the other issues, but at the end of the day, the country really wasn't feeling a woman president. And if you look at the demographics that voted for Trump, it was a lot of that was along male-female lines. Now, Trump underperformed himself from 2020. We had 71 million versus 74. So he underperformed, but he outperformed Kamala Harris, who way underperformed Biden. Biden had 81 million votes. Kamala Harris had like 67 million votes. So what does that mean? That means Democrats didn't show up for her. And I think you look at some of the ways that Trump reached his supporters. Trump didn't really grow the tent as much as they just came out and voted. He didn't grow. He actually underperformed, but he outperformed the Democrats in key counties because, again, they couldn't get out the vote. We talked about Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, where Charlotte is. 500,000 Democrats didn't vote in that one county. You talk about Gwinnett County outside Atlanta. Over 300,000 Democrats did not come out and vote. So, it's a mandate because he won the popular vote and he underperformed what he did in 2020, and he won all the battleground states. And it's just simple as that. The Democrats didn't come out and vote. And if you look at Latino men, right? Do Latino men really want a woman? Or, you start talking about the issues. I mean, and it was funny because when you talk about immigration, I think this is where the Democrats got it completely wrong, right? They did a survey of illegal immigrants, and even the illegal immigrants said they were going to vote for Trump. And the reason why they said is because they're the good illegal immigrants. They're not the ones. They're not going to deport me. They're going to report those other Hondurans were saying they're going to deport Nicaraguans. Nicaraguans were saying they're going to deport Venezuelans. So they were fractured amongst illegal immigrants. And guess what?
Thank
They
you.
all going to get their asses deported.
How did they vote?
Cousin
How
Todd.
could they vote? They couldn't vote. How could they vote if they're illegal?
Cousin Todd.
They didn't vote.
Don't
They
ask
just
me a
surveyed them.
question.
They surveyed them. It was a survey. It wasn't voting. Okay, let's be clear. They were just asking their opinions, right? And so
Cousin
that
Todd.
was
They voted,
You
Stephen.
guys are talking right over his time.
they voted. If they
no.
voted, they voted for Trump then.
He just wanted to be clear that they did not vote. This was a survey. He was trying to make that clear to people who don't.
They're kind of slow, Ty. They think
Right.
survey voting.
That's right. And so, well, Trump made them think that. So it's stuck in their brain now. So what happened was nationwide, you were given the state by state, but nationwide, 10 million people did not vote. And the reason why is because they didn't want a Black woman leading this country. Now, I said this probably 8 years ago. I said, it's white male first, has always been and will continue to be. But after white male is Black male, who will become president, Black male, then white woman, then Jew, and then everybody else. That's the way it goes in America. Now, I've said that for years. I did not think this Black woman had a chance. I didn't say that on the show, but everybody who knows me knows that because I've been saying that ever since she got in the race. There's no way this Black woman could beat a white man, particularly Donald Trump, with his racist, ridiculous self.
Here we go,
There was
Stephen.
no way she could win. And I said this from the very beginning. So I knew she was going to lose because America is not ready for a Black woman. Now, this is how well I knew that. White women voted against their own interest. White women, between 52 and 54%, voted for Donald Trump. When Donald Trump is saying, you can't control your own bodies, the states will control them for you. And they would still vote for him. Now that is beyond sick.
You're missing a point. You're missing 2 points, Ty.
I got a question for you.
You're missing
Oh,
2
no, wait,
points.
no, wait. Excuse me.
There's 2
One
things you're
second.
missing, Ty.
Mhm.
Okay. One,
Let's
is-
look at this
quickly.
electoral map.
Give it to
you're
me quickly.
saying that they're voting against their best and their own interest. That's not
yes.
true. They're voting exactly for their interest.
No,
Their
not
interest
white
is their
women. Not white
And just-
women.
white women, especially white women. And then if you think
No.
about it, let's talk about the abortion issue, because you say that the abortion issue is voting against their own interest.
Yes.
One of the things that Democrats always do, and they miss the point in this,
Come
because it's a
on.
morality issue. Because
Give it to
why are
me.
you having an abortion? Is because you made
Because
some
I
type
have,
of
I'm telling you, I have a dead baby inside of me that I have to
That's an
get out.
exception. That's an
It's not
exception. though.
dead, and it's not dead until you have the procedure.
Shut up. Go
Let-
ahead, Akuna.
Let me just finish the point. Let's finish the point. Yeah, I get that, Todd. We know there are going to be exceptions, right?
There's
But
no
in
exception.
general, there was a vote. There was a morality vote. There's a morality vote, and you hear what Stephen and Keith are saying about rejecting of the left, right? You're talking about the moral fabric of this country. There are people in this country that say, "Hey, abortions are wrong," and the fact that you're choosing to have one is because you made a bad decision, right?
That is
That's
not
the point.
what
Now, I
we're
know there are
talking
medical issues, there are other options within there, but at the core, they're saying, "Hey, why are you even electing to have an abortion to begin with?" Because
Aguna,
this is evangelical.
okay, stop.
Again, you can show a blind, you can put your hands on your ears, but look at the election results. This is what they're telling you.
Aguna.
So I'm telling you, don't say they voted against their own interests.
Okay,
Because their
Aguna,
interests are what they voted for.
stop. All right, stop.
Okay,
Stop.
I'm just
Stop.
saying this is why
Okay.
Democrats don't learn
Can I
from
finish?
election.
They
You
will
just
not learn,
don't believe
Aguna. They
it.
will not
Okay.
learn.
I can't
All right, you
believe
all
this.
have to stop talking one at
Okay,
a
go
time.
ahead,
Let's
Todd.
chill.
Todd. Okay, go
Todd,
ahead,
you're
Todd.
going
Go
on and on
ahead.
and on. I want to
Go
look at
I'm
ahead.
this.
not going on and
Stop.
on and
I want
on,
to.
crazy Stacy. It's them.
I've
I
let you
can't
talk,
believe
Todd. So
you.
let's look at the
No,
the
no,
presidential
no. You just
electoral
stop me
map.
because this nut job stopped me. We're not going
Wait a
to.
minute. Wait a minute,
Oh
Todd.
my
Wait.
God, I can't deal with this.
We looked at this electoral map. You look at the red are
Can't
the
believe
states
that
that
Stacy's going
President-elect
on and on. Now she
Donald
never does
Trump
this
won,
to these crackpots
and
like
the
Stephen or
blue
Keith.
He,
But she,
sa-
are the
he
states
sounds just like
that
Whoopi.
okay.
Vice President Harris won. Now, Cousin Todd, I'm going to go. I don't have to, Cousin Todd, but I'm going to go back to you. But you can't talk the whole show.
You can't say. Look, I quit. I quit. Never mind. I'm not saying
Todd,
another
you
word.
can't take the wrong the whole side.
You take it.
Todd
Like,
is hilarious.
you ran Todd off the show. You ran Todd off the show, Stacy.
Oh no!
I have 3
It's no
comments
show without
on this.
Todd. Text him. Let him know it's no show without Todd.
They said
Stacy.
Aguna. Look at the comment. You gotta love YouTube says Aguna is the Black Steven tonight.
Oh.
And Aguna
Oh.
says not really. And you gotta love YouTube says going on and on and on. Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm the voice of reason. Okay, clearly the election has consequences. All right, and
So
if
it
you
seems
want to
like to me,
rationalize the results, this is the problem. People don't want to hear the truth sometimes.
That's
so it seems
exactly
like to me,
right.
if you look at that electoral map, it seems like to me, I remember when Bill Clinton ran, and you saw a little bit more in the middle part of our country, a little bit more blue. And those are the type of things that tell you that there's a chance that that candidate is going to win the election. And when we started to see that last week, and I told you, I said, I don't know how she's going to be able to catch up being so far behind. You guys were kind of like, it's an early night, Aguna said. Todd said, it's an early night. You know, they got to do this all night. They got to get all the numbers in. But I knew it would be hard once he got that lead for her to be able to catch up and make that.
Well, I mean, no, I mean it went the way it's supposed to go. The larger precincts report later, right? Because of the number of ballots that have to be cast. But in that vein, you saw Philadelphia. There was almost 500,000 votes left out there that voted for Biden last time. Saw suburban Charlotte, North Carolina. You saw Gwinnett County, Fulton County, DeKalb County in Georgia, where they just didn't get out the vote. They didn't have the same numbers. And so what happens is, typically they come in later in the night, but they never came in. And so what happened is you saw Trump outperforming Harris in multiple counties, in most of the counties around the United States, and it was because Democratic turnout was low. And the reason, and the answer is, and the question is, why was it low? Because they were knocking on doors. And I was talking to Democratic canvassers, and they were saying how many doors they knocked on, and how many people they reached out to. But again, I traveled to 6 of the 7 battleground states this year, and I was going through the airports, and I was looking around. I'm like, I cannot see these people voting for Harris. Now, as much as there was enthusiasm and this promise of, all this hype around her candidacy, they didn't show up. And again, Trump won the popular vote despite underperforming himself in 2020. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the Democratic coalition did not support the candidate, which now you start looking back on it. Would she have gotten elected if they had a primary? Probably not. She was probably, because she was VP, it was their selection. And so she had a lot of headwinds going into the election, especially given the fact that, we were talking about the economy, we were talking about immigration, we were talking about all these things, and Biden just wasn't a popular candidate. But it wasn't a popular president as an incumbent.
So we see a comment from one of our viewers, Paper Doll, says non-white MAGA voters are in deep denial. There's a video of a black MAGA guy who's sad because at a rally, a white MAGA told him he'd never be a part of them, and all they needed was his vote.
Yeah, right. I believe
Poor
that.
thing.
That sounds
Poor.
really smart.
Yeah.
Well, Guna,
So,
to contradict what you say that the Dems didn't get enough votes like they should have. It's not that they didn't get the votes out. They didn't get to cheat the way they did in 2020 because we were on top of it this time. We didn't know y'all were going to try to steal it the way you did last time. So we had 500 lawyers alone in Philadelphia. Trump put 500 lawyers there. They watched everything that went on this time. They weren't going to let you do your dirty-handed lying, cheating, stealing the way you do on the Democrat. No, not you, because you're a Republican. You're on our side. But the way the Democrats do, they lie, cheat, steal. So they couldn't do it this time. That's why she didn't get the votes. That's why her votes were so low. That's why.
So, Stephen,
so
to
then
your
what
point,
happened?
okay,
let's
you
let's
still
let's
you
talk
can
about
hold on, Stacey.
what
To
happened
the
with.
point, let me make this point, Stacey.
Excuse me.
Stacey,
Let's
let me
talk
make this
about.
point
Okay, go
about the
ahead.
election. You can reconcile the election logs, okay? So I know how you want to say it was rigged and was cheated in the early election, but you can very easily reconcile the 81 million votes that Joe Biden got last
He
election.
didn't get that. He
And you
didn't
can
get that many
reconcile that
votes.
voter turnout this election and see that there was a gap. It wasn't about cheating. It was about enthusiasm.
Joe
Either
Biden
way,
had no enthusiasm. Nobody, that many people did not vote for Joe Biden. There's no way. He didn't even campaign. He stayed in the
very
basement.
easily
There was
proven.
no thrill for him. Nobody wanted Joe Biden. So how did he get
81
more
million
votes? Wait a minute. How did he get more
voted
votes
for him.
than Obama did with the first time he ran, when everybody was passing out and peeing their pants just to see him? Everybody voted for him. But Biden got more votes than Obama? That's ridiculous, man.
No, it's
It
not.
was
It's because
fixed.
of the
It was
mail-in
it's gonna all everything Guna, everything's gonna come out. They can't hide the truth now. The truth has been hidden from the people, and the people are gonna know everything now. Everything that they have done on the left has become wide open. Now we cut the light
Okay,
on. We
excuse me,
caught
Stephen.
we
Okay,
got
thank
these
you.
cockroaches
Got it.
now.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. Stop talking.
again, it can be easily proven. All right. You don't
Stop
have to go
talking.
and try to do a victory lap. The bottom line of it is the Dems didn't get the votes, right? So to say it was some conspiracy, all these things, no, it's not. It was the bottom line of it is Trump actually underperformed and still won the popular vote, right? He still won the House, he still won the Senate, and he got the judicial branch. So there's really nothing the Democrats can say to say, hey, you know, X, Y, and Z. In fact, you don't hear them saying it was stolen. You don't hear them saying all this stuff. They're just going with
They could not say it was
Let's talk
stolen. It was
about.
a blowout. They couldn't say it was stolen. It's not that thick. It's not that.
it wasn't. It,
I
it
want to
They
talk
wasn't
can't
about.
say it's
necessarily a
stolen.
Okay,
blowout.
They couldn't say it's stolen.
excuse
It's not
me.
necessarily a blowout,
I
but
want
yeah.
to talk about this map. This is a House map. How in the world was the House, the down ballot races, able to secure the majority in certain states that Vice President Harris didn't win?
What
He
state?
showed up. I told you he showed up. He showed up in those blue areas, the places where the media lied on him, and all of those things, all those lies. People found out, hey, this guy's not so bad. He's a likable guy, and that's the way they vote a lot of time. But I wanted to also make my comment about Harris. Now, is it possible? This is just a theory. I'm not trying to be racist or sexist or any of this. But is it possible that some of our Middle Eastern and Eastern and like China, maybe our opponents, our enemies, don't like women? So, they may not be able to be so friendly towards a female president because of that. They may not respect her. So maybe people were aware of that. I don't
Keith,
know.
I think if she
What
was
do you think?
competent, and had a plan to make the country better and would say that, she would go out and then talk to people and have real interviews and act like a president candidate. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter that she's a woman of color. It doesn't matter. She lost because she sucked. She lost because
Yeah,
she was a
that's true.
horrible
I
candidate.
agree.
It had
I
nothing
agree,
to
but
do because
I'm
she's
just
a
saying.
female.
Yeah, I
Okay,
agree. I'm
thank
just
you.
saying that
Yeah,
Now
it's
let's
I
look at
mean,
some
possible.
of her
so this is
comments.
It's a
where
Muslim
this is
country.
where
Excuse
we
me.
These are
deviate.
Muslim
I see what
countries.
you're
These are
saying.
Me.
You're
countries.
right there, but
Joseph
Yeah.
J.
Well,
Sutler
we
said,
we can have
wait a minute,
disagreement
excuse me.
without trying to insult people, right? So
No,
we can say
that's not an
you were putting
insult.
us in this
we didn't
Aguna, I
insult
didn't mean to
nobody.
insult. didn't
Okay,
Yeah,
insult
you
you.
Joseph
calling her
J.
dummy or
Cutler,
something. Listen, again, you're
stop talking,
disenfranchised.
please.
I do.
Okay, you're talking right over me like I'm not even talking. Joseph J. Sutler is watching the show. He said, "Can we trust Elon Musk with this election?" And You Gotta Love YouTube says, "Some are questioning why Trump kept saying, 'You don't even need to vote,' as if he had it rigged, Musk manipulation." And then You Gotta Love YouTube says, "Trump elected Musk and Vivek to his staff." Let's start looking
Yeah.
at who
You even know who Elon Musk is?
Trump
You don't even know who he is.
appointing his cabinet picks.
What
So
about? Oh,
he's picking. Let me share the screen. His second term cabinet so far, who he's picking: Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. Can you see that?
yep. That's really interesting that he would choose Marco Rubio. But anyway, interesting.
Marco
It's
Rubio has
interesting.
a history, and he's seen as a foreign policy hawk, as you can see here.
Yeah,
They're also
See, it goes to show you
picking
Trump is about
Lee
business.
Zeldin as the EPA agency director.
that's a good one.
You know, it takes a
He's
real leader and
picking
a real.
Elise Stefanik,
Yeah,
House GOP conference chair, who just won
that's
her fifth
awesome.
term representing upstate New York as United Nations ambassador.
That's great.
She's picking Kristi Noem as Homeland Security Secretary, or she has served as South Dakota governor since 2019.
That
That's
She's
good.
beautiful
picking
lady.
Mike Huckabee as ambassador to Israel.
That's a good one.
What about
He's
Rick Perry
picking
for the Department of Energy?
CIA Director John Ratcliffe, former head of intelligence in the last Trump administration. He's picking Pete Hegseth as Defense Secretary. Now, Pete
That's a good one.
Hegseth is an
You don't know who
infantry
that is,
captain in
Stephen.
the Army
Yeah,
National
he's
Guard.
on Fox. He's on Fox. He's on Fox, and he's ex-military. He's a great pick. He's a great pick.
Well, he
So
is served as, excuse me, let me finish talking, please.
yes, go
Served
ahead.
as, according to thehill.com, as infantry captain in the Army National Guard and did tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, earning 2 Bronze Stars. He's currently a co-host for Fox and Friends Weekend. Trump has pledged to fire generals involved in the 2021 Afghanistan withdrawal and to eliminate woke initiatives that focus on diversity and equity in the military.
Yes, ma'am.
This
Yeah.
this choice comes as a surprise even to some Trump allies. He's chosen Chief of Staff Susie Wiles,
Woo!
who was also his campaign
Manager.
She will be the first woman to serve as a White House Chief of Staff.
He's a
All right.
misogynist.
Chief of Staff is
All
Stephen
right.
Miller. Border Czar Tom Homan,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's a
former
bad
Immigration
dude.
and Customs Enforcement Director.
He's tough.
National Security Advisor Mike
Stephen.
Waltz, an
Stephen.
Army veteran who was
Tough.
the first Green Beret elected to Congress.
Woo, Laguna.
White
We
House
are
Counsel Bill
cooking.
McGinley. Stop talking, please. I don't talk over you all when you talk, and it's really starting to tick me off. I don't talk over you when you talk. I let you talk, and you all just chime. Stephen and Keith, you're just chiming in as I'm doing the.
I didn't say nothing. I ain't said a word.
Yes, you did. He said he's a good pick. He is on Fox and Friends. He's on Fox and.
No,
I'm talking.
Laguna said you don't know him, and I said I know you. I'm gonna tell you how I know him, and we had lunch, but I didn't even go that far because I didn't want to talk too much over you.
That's a picture of Stephen next to the
Stop
article.
talking
That is.
over me. Tom McGinley. Trump will return to the White House under Trump as his counsel. He was cabinet secretary during Trump's first administration and also served as general counsel of the National Republican Senatorial Committee. Middle East envoy Stephen Witkoff, a New York businessman. He will serve as special envoy to the Middle East. Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy.
That's good.
And that's all we have as of right now. So let's get back to everyone's comments about who the president-elect is choosing to fill his cabinet positions as of right now. Let's start with Keith.
Well,
And
I
watch me
like.
not talk over you, Keith. Watch this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my favorite is I like that Homan. I like that that dude. He reminds me. He is a John Wayne of men. He's all right. He ain't playing. He's not playing around, and they're gonna take care of that immigration situation. So I look forward to that, especially living in Los Angeles, California. Anybody living out here, look out, because they are coming. A real man is coming to town. And let's
Thank
see.
you.
That's it. Yeah, those
Steven?
guys, all the rest of them are good.
Yeah, but what we have now, you got to understand, there's a new sheriff in town, and this guy's not only great and good and wholesome, awesome, he's lucky. See, he's lucky. Yeah, what happens is he's putting together a staff right now that he couldn't do in 2016 because it was fresh and new, and he thought he could trust these people. He said, trust me, but he actually couldn't. He has no backstabbers. And that's going to be that close to him in his most important positions. These could be people that are on his team. They're an NFL football team. Let's call them the Philadelphia Freedom Eagles right now. That's what this. I'll give y'all all that. This is the group we have now, and they will die for each other. They will kill for each other. This group is the best assembled group that any president's ever had, because he knows that these people have been with him since the beginning, and that's all he deals with. These backstabbers, like that little girl, they're gone. Oh, that fat dude from what's his from? New Jersey, the fat guy.
Well, I'm interested to see Musk and Vivek and see what this Office of Government Efficiency and see what they're trying to do. I mean, he's pledged to cut $2.2 trillion or something like that. And in the previous Trump administration, we run up the deficit fairly high. And it's going to be interesting how to cut government spending and do a mass deportation as well as tariffs and enact all these different things. There are going to be a lot of lawsuits and things like that coming along, especially if he starts going after people. And then even with the DEI initiatives, which, he's looking at the military now, but you look across the country, especially with HBCUs, and, there are going to be a lot of lawsuits. The government's going to spend a lot of money, going back and forth and trying to gut these programs or repurpose this funding. It's going to be a lot of money being spent, a lot of money being cut. It's going to be an interesting environment. And the only thing about this team he's putting together, and to Stephen's point about learning from the past, maybe he will, but in the previous administrations and a lot of environments, talking about not just the government, I'm talking about Trump companies, they talk about how toxic and how competitive those environments are and how that impacts your ability to enact things and to lead and do all these different things. So, I mean, I think one of the listeners put in RFK. He didn't see RFK. Or RFK is going to be over the CDC or the Department of Health. So, and he's pledged to cut out a lot of those programs. So it sounds good until you start doing it, and there's a trickle down effect on government spending in the economy. This is not like a house where you can start cutting things and not have a residual impact of what's going on. So it sounds good. I know a lot of the MAGA people are looking to, hey, we're going to drain the swamp, but there are going to be some repercussions around it. So hopefully the people he's putting in there, have some common sense and don't just try to do some draconian things that will come back to bite you later on.
They won't.
Thank you, Cousin Todd.
I mean, it's happened before. So, I mean,
okay. Nothing's perfect, but he's got a good crew. On paper right now, they look unstoppable.
You got to pay for it.
Yeah, you got to pay for it. They're going to cut all the garbage. How much garbage do we have in the government? How much wasted spending do we have? They're going to cut all of that, Aguna. They're going to cut all the wasted spending. Hey, you just said 2.3 billion. You just said what was it, 2.3
$2.2 trillion. That doesn't mean you can do it. In fact, analysts say if you do it, it's stupid.
No, it's not. Watch. Keep your eyes
Look at
open.
that. That's Aguna and Steven. I
15%,
said cousin Todd, and they're talking right over him like I never said it.
50% of
Go
the
Todd.
budget.
Go Todd. Go Todd.
You know.
You know what? Go to Keith, because these boys are stupid. This is Steven and Aguna. I've never
Stop
seen
calling
anything like
names
this before.
Go ahead, Tom.
I can't participate with
We
this.
stupid, but we ain't ignorant.
We're just
Like
having
you.
I don't know who's making your show worse, Steven or Aguna.
I think Aguna tonight's
He's
making it
doing
worse.
Let's point fingers.
Goodbye.
And not listen.
Okay.
Cousin Todd is having a meltdown. He just went to a safe space. He can't come out to here but for so long. He's got to go back to a safe space. And
Right. I want to
I
talk
think he's
about one
angry
thing
about
as
the
we talk about
election.
as we talk about our roundtable. I want to talk about one thing about the prospect of Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor stepping down so that the Democrats could put a younger person in, because while President Trump will be in office, he'll be able to possibly appoint 2 Supreme Court justices if Justices Alito and Thomas retire. So we're going to start with Keith, then Stephen, then Aguna, then Cousin Todd, if he comes back, on whether or not Justice Sotomayor should step down and allow the Democrats to put in a younger Supreme Court justice. Keith?
Well, no matter what we say, she's not going to step down. I mean, these people are full of pride. They're not going to step down because for some political reason. She's not going to do it. I guarantee you, she will not step down. She's going to feel it. She's going to be like Ginsburg. She's got the same spirit as Ginsburg. She stayed in until death. I mean, she died in office.
Thank you, Stephen.
So Stacey, is somebody trying to get her to step down?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't know if anyone is trying to get her, but
was it her idea? Was it her idea, Stacey?
No, Stephen. No. It wasn't.
No.
It was
so somebody once said maybe it'd be a good idea if she stepped down. Keith, you're right. Ain't no way in heck that woman ever gonna step down from that spot. Who would step down? Oh, let me just get on out of here and be magnanimous. Only way she would step down is if she knew she was really, really sick, and by the time Trump got in, that he could replace her. That's the only reason she would do it. But being coerced and acting to take a Biden, no, nobody's going to take another Biden like that and then just step down and let somebody else come in. That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Okay, thank you, Aguna.
Yeah, I mean, it to Stephen's point, if it was her idea, that'd be one thing. But I mean, the Democrats really haven't shown a lot of strategic. Yeah, and that's part of the problem, right? Because Biden should have really been thinking about succession planning year 2, right? And then you fast forward to now where Kamala she had a failed candidacy, and now you're in a lame duck session. I mean, if they were smart, they would in fact appoint a younger person. I mean, I think that strategically that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, you look at some of the strategy on the Democratic side the last couple of years, things really haven't worked out in their favor, especially because they try to play by the rules a lot of times, and that just doesn't work out. Right?
They don't try to play.
At the end of the day, I don't think she's going to do it.
Okay.
They don't play by the rules.
So,
they were going to pack the Supreme Court if they won.
I want to talk about the last few minutes. You got to talk about the comments from our viewers. They said, what women of color would be classified as an ideal candidate? Joseph J. Sutler said that. You got to love YouTube said none that I can think of. You got to love YouTube said the right wants Candace Owens. And you got to love YouTube said no RFK.
Wow, he's
All
great.
Right, we're out of time.
RFK is great.
RFK is great. He's gonna make the people in this country healthier. He's a great guy. He knows what he's doing.
Bring a
To
dead
our
bear.
first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on this show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Oguna, the voice of reason,
Go Birds. I apologize, Todd. Come back, Todd.
Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker,
Made in
Go Trump,
and
China.
go.
my cousin
Go Trump,
Todd.
go.
Todd heard you. All right.
Todd Ruski.
We
Look,
love you,
I'll be
I'm
Todd.
fine.
Stacy. Let's keep this conversation going on Twitter, Instagram at Sporlitics, TikTok. Check us out at TikTok at Sporlitics.com. Please check us out at Twitch at Sporlitics. Please check us out, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sporlitics, as well as watch us on Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. I think I've got everything. We'll see you next week. Great show. Good night.
We love you, Todd. Hang in there.
Be
strong.
I'm wearing this for you, Todd. I'm
Be
wearing
strong,
this for you,
Todd.
man. Solidarity. Wearing it for you,
Yeah.
Todd. I
Yes,
know how you
right.
feel, man. I know what it feels like to lose.
Todd, man. What's wrong, Todd? You forgive us, Todd? You forgive us?
Stacey, how could you say this was a good show? This show was beyond stupid.
I can only imagine the kind of foolishness Todd had to listen to tonight.
Oh my God. It would
Wait a
never
minute.
end.
Is that the voice of Christmas
It was
past?
like they couldn't even hear themselves going on and on. And she kept saying, wait, I'm talking to Todd. I'm talking to it. I can't. This was
Were we loud? Were we loud, Todd?
and Aguna kills me because he thinks Steven is crazy and makes the show look like Jerry Springer, and it's you.
What did I do, Todd? Let's do a retrospect. Okay.
Just watch
I didn't
the
say
show
anything
back.
about your outfit.
Just
I didn't
watch
call
the
you
show
stupid.
back. Oh my gosh. Anyway, listen, Stacy, I'm getting ready to get out of here, but I just wanted to say, like I was trying to say in the beginning, America is not ready for a black woman president. And that's
not
why
good.
the people voted against their own better judgment, like the white women, like I was saying. They're not out at clubs having sex and then getting pregnant and getting abortions. That's not what it's about. Only people that think that is people like Stephen and Keith.
What the hell do I think?
We're talking about
I think white women have sex
we're
in clubs.
talking about people that want to have children, but when they go and get their ultrasound, they find out that there's something wrong. And sometimes it's detrimental.
Why are
So
we talking
these are
about
the people
abortion, man?
that have abortions? And
It didn't win you the election.
white women know that, but they
You're
didn't
right,
care
You
Stephen.
try to.
because
You
they
think
weren't
women
ready
will only
for
vote
it.
for
You see the
abortion? You
idiot?
think you have
You're
a
right.
string?
So you see how white people, women, voted against their own interest, and so did 20% of black men. So when their women are bleeding out because they can't get an abortion, so be it.
If they're
When the
bleeding out, they
blacks
can get an
are
abortion.
when the blacks are getting beat in the head. Remember when Rizzo was the mayor of Philadelphia, how blacks were getting beat like for sport. So wait till Donald Trump sicks the police on you. Remember, he said 1 day of violence, just 1 day, even 1 hour. So I'll be happy. And then for the Mexicans that voted for him, thinking they're not going to get deported because I'm legal. He's going to deport all those Mexicans, and he's going to say, you get back to Mexico. And you're going to say, but I'm Puerto Rican. Get back to Mexico. Hey, but I'm Dominican. Get back to
That's,
Mexico. But I'm
sounds
Spanish from
racist.
Spain. Get back to Mexico. He
But
does not care. You people are going to be deported. And don't look at me. Donald Trump is going to do nothing except get money off of crypto. and I'll be right beside him.
He's
And
gonna deport
other
you,
than that,
Todd.
people like these
Okay.
two dum-dums, they're not going to benefit at all. And what do you think about this? Now, this is for Steven, the dum-dum. Now,
The
normally
one
he
with
would
all the
say something
Bitcoin, the
different.
one sitting here on top of Bitcoin.
What do you think about the president pulling an executive order to check all of the top dogs in the military? And if they're unfit to serve, he's
They're
going to replace them.
They are the ones up there are unfit to serve, and it's going to be
Trash.
proven. Just hold your breath and wait.
He's
There
going
are
Oh, man.
corrupt
he's going
generals.
to
There are
he's
corrupt
going
generals that
to
need to pay for what they did, and
yeah,
they need a tribunal. They need a tribunal, and
and
they need a
so
military trial. This is what they need.
Donald Trump
There's
is going to
generals that have admitted
shut
treason
up.
against this country,
Donald Trump is going
treasonous
to
against this
determine
country.
who is fit
He said
for
they
office.
committed treason.
See,
Yeah.
he's here. He's
Yeah,
here.
they could.
Donald
What's up,
Trump is
Steve?
going to
Hi.
determine
Hey,
that.
look who
Hi,
showed up.
What
And
about your
so
state,
Excuse me.
sir?
I
Welcome
love
to
it.
Politics, where
How you
sports and
doing over
politics
there?
mix and mingle since 2011. What's your name and what's your comment?
Hey, look who didn't show his face.
I'm sure that joke will be funnier the
Look
next
who
time
didn't
you
show
tell
his
it.
face again.
How
Wow.
many
Well, you're
times have
late.
you told
You'll
this
never
joke?
Where you been? Licking your wounds, Naj? You been licking your wounds?
Who told you I was a Democrat? For one. See,
Nas is
sometimes when you fail to plan, you plan to fail, sir. So no, I'm not a Democrat. I can give
Nas.
an objective
Are you
You
the
don't
only
know. You
blue?
don't
Are
know
you
what
the
the
only
hell
status
you are,
Democrat
on
in
man.
what
Georgia?
happened. Well, I actually do.
You
It
the
just
only one
doesn't
in
have to be a
Georgia that
Democrat.
voted?
He's a Republican. He's been joking this whole time, guys.
Yeah.
So the only
So,
There you
things you
go.
think exist are Dem Repub.
so,
I'm gonna need you to
so
read a little
Dot,
bit.
What are you,
I
green?
think so. Dot, I think Aguna was a little down tonight because Todd got on top of him pretty hard.
As he
For no
should
Todd
have.
doesn't
reason.
want Aguna.
I
Todd
don't
doesn't
believe it.
listen.
I
Todd
know
doesn't
Aguna.
listen.
I think Aguna was probably playing games and acting as if everything is all good, and Todd wasn't having it today. So I didn't
I
see the
mean,
footage.
okay.
I'm siding with Todd.
No, because Todd needs to stop with this whole not voting for their interests. White
Yeah.
women not voting for their interests. They voted for their interests. This is who they are. Okay, let's stop making these excuses as if they somehow have like some naivety when it comes to the issues that impact them.
It's more than
They're
just
saying
abortion.
they don't care about these other things
Right.
because they care about these things. This is
Right.
who they are. This is
They're
who
like
the
men.
Hispanics are.
They care about things like men do. They don't just think about abortion all day. I gotta have an abortion all day. They don't. That's
That
what Todd
Title
thinks.
IX
Todd,
stuff,
that's why you lose.
I don't know why
that
you're
Title
insulting
IX stuff
his argument.
resonated with them. Okay,
Exactly.
All right.
They don't want their daughters playing with boys. That's in their own interest, Todd.
Okay.
So
They don't
my
want their
thing
daughters
is,
being slapped with something in their face while they're trying to have sports.
Aguna,
Okay, wait a minute. Let's one at a time.
Okay, yeah. I just want to ask Aguna this. How many trans kids are in the state of Florida? So
Don't
I can see
care.
you rolling your eyes.
it doesn't even matter. I
No,
get
no,
it.
no,
I
no,
get
no,
it.
no. Just
I
hold
get it.
on.
It is a very minute percentage of
No,
the
just
real
hold on.
issue, right? But we're talking about resonating with someone who's like, hey, I don't want my little girl playing against this dude. All right, that's all they want to know. The
We
abortion
got
thing,
that. We've already heard that side a million times. I'm giving
right?
you a different leaning, not specifically for you, but for the listeners. I'm just asking you that question, and then we can move on to Georgia, Tennessee. You know, whatever red state you want to think of. How many
But
of
here's
those?
the thing:
No,
I shouldn't have to
Aguna,
answer that. I shouldn't have to answer that. The Democrats should have had a messaging around that because I know what you're saying. You're saying that, hey, it's not even a factor. You're talking about some very isolated.
Of course so. So the fact that they were able to take this culture war stuff mainstream and talk about it as if this is something everybody's going to experience and is going to affect everybody's lives is insane, for one. And then the second thing, and look, I'll get out your way real quick. Second thing, globally, if we look at what happened election-wise, France, Germany, England, everywhere, incumbents lost because of the struggle that people had to go through. People typically say, hey, we want them out, get somebody new in. that happened all across the globe.
Invasions of different countries, too many people, too many.
Stop interrupting.
Listen.
Let him finish. Don't interrupt, and then you can make
I
your
thought
comment.
he was done.
No, he's not.
I can't see his mouth stop because he ain't man enough to show his face.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead,
so,
Doc.
so with that understanding, this was an outcome that was predictable. And Stacey talked about this was the most likely outcome to happen when she was predicting it early on election night, and she ended up being correct that that's what was going to happen. That's a factor. Second factor, Biden didn't leave early enough. The fact that he came in as a transitional president who made the idea that he was going to leave after 4, but then tried to run for re-election, that was a problem that the Dems had. And then the other problem was because people said, oh, well, why didn't they just, take a vote and figure out, who the best candidate was? Well, they couldn't do that either because the money that was already bankrolled by the DNC was allocated to Kamala and Biden. If you wanted to run Shapiro or whoever else, that meant you would have had to give that money back and convince people to send it back again, or I don't know how that would have worked out. So ultimately, you had your candidate, and it was what it was. But this is just going to come down to this, and I'll get out y'all way. It'll just come down to this. The Dems decided they would ride with Wall Street before Main Street, and that cost them dearly. When you do the child tax credit and things like that, that relieves some of the stress from people's lives, but you only make it temporary. You don't push for those things to happen. You don't go after corporations for shrinkflation and greedflation. Those are the mistakes that campaign made. And because of that, they lost to essentially a talk show host clown. So, I mean, that's just what it is, man.
But that really
Anything
matter.
else, y'all
I don't
Go
think
ahead,
I
Stephen.
don't think the details
Stephen
matter.
wanted to make a comment.
It
Go
was a
ahead,
feeling.
Stephen.
Those are the important details.
There's a feeling. With Keith and Stephen
To call Trump a clown when Harris was the Joker, the female version of the Joker. Donald Trump worked his ass off, like 15 hours a day. I don't know anybody that could work as hard as he did. He never stopped. He went on every show. He went in every county. He went in every city. He went where everybody could be down on him, but everybody got to see who he really is. He's just a normal guy. He's a guy that's been around normal people his whole life because he's been on the construction sites. He knows normal people. He goes to restaurants. He knows he's not elite and above. He's not elite and above. That's why they hate him. But Donald Trump is a person that's coming in. He's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. He's an independent, and he's more of a moderate, and he wants to work to make the country better. And if you don't agree with that and you think he's just a clown and he's not worthy, then why overwhelmingly did he get voted in? Because the people spoke. Now he has a mandate.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Stephen,
He
he got 16 votes in
2020.
Georgia to Harris's
Show
0.
your face, Keith.
Harris got no votes.
I know. I'm just saying it's absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, he was a great candidate. He would have beaten anybody they put up there. But you know what? She was spending $1 million more a day than him, and he still beat her. It didn't matter how much money she paid these celebrities to come sing or talk. It didn't matter how much money she spent. She couldn't beat him because she didn't have the policies, Todd. She didn't have the policies. She said nothing for 170 days of what she was going to do. She was just a girl from it, she's a middle class little girl, and we loved our yards or lawns. It was stupid. She was the stupidest candidate ever. It's embarrassing to the Democrat Party. They need to go away. But Donald Trump was solid. Yeah. Donald Trump is solid. Everything he's doing is to help this country. And there's still people like Nas going, he's a clown. He's a talk show host. No, he's very smart. He's very smart, and he's got a good team around him right now. And just sit back and watch. Before long, Nas is going to come on the show one day and goes, I've always liked Donald Trump. He's always been my man.
Don't look for that.
16
Okay,
you will.
Thank you.
But no,
We'll see you next
You're going to
week.
get
Good
tired
night.
of winning.
God
We'll see you
damn,
next week. Good night.
I know, man. I've been saying that.